Good afternoon and welcome to State News File. I'm Louise Van Dam. Danny Seymour will have sports in just a moment, but first let's check in with Mason DePatie with the weather. Mason, can you tell us how it's looking outside right now? So Danny, it's the first week of the winter semester here at State. I'm pretty sure there's some pretty exciting stuff happening with Trojan Sports right now.
Trojan Sports is just about to get underway. In fact, it actually kicks off tomorrow, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later on.
Perfect. First, let's have a look at today's top stories. As technology advances, hackers are becoming more adaptive and are able to breach information in just a few clicks. Cybersecurity is becoming more important, and many industries are taking measures to prevent data from being stolen. Mandy Vogt reports on how BMO is implementing a new sector which aims to improve fraud security and cybersecurity. It was a scary morning in the northeast community of Horizon as shots rang out on Barlow Trail and 37th Avenue. Police continue to search for two suspects in connection with the case. Etiel Monroy has more. With provincial campaign signs and Twitter rants everywhere, the campaign season seems to be at the forefront of everyone's minds. There's also been a lot of talk about the UCP and NDP parties lately, but as Mason DePatie reports, voters have some other options to consider as well. Well, Ryan, it's actually surprisingly nice outside. Currently, I can't see my breath, but it is a nice temperature of 3 degrees right now. Now, looking back at 1893, definitely not jealous of the minus 42 Celsius that they experienced back then. But 1993 had a high of 14 Celsius, which sounds quite nice. But compared to today, still can't complain that we're having really, really nice weather in January. Back to you guys. Pretty nice outside, but things are going to start changing as we head further into the week. So as we take a look at the western side of Canada, some things I want to mention is that we do have a storm warning coming out of central BC, so just be aware of that, as well as if you're from the Okanagan Valley, there has been a statement released about the air quality. There is lots of dust particles in the air, so if you have any sort of heart or respiratory conditions, please make sure that you're staying inside in a well air-conditioned area until some winds come and push that away. Something else I want to mention as we head further into the east from middle of the Saskatchewan all the way into central of Quebec here, we have an extreme cold warning. So if they're saying that it's extreme, just know that it is going to be extreme, incredibly cold out there, so just make sure that you're bundling up if you're in central to eastern Canada. As I'm going to speak about, we have this cold front coming up, which basically means is that we're going to see a lot of fluctuating weather. We're going to see some really cold temperatures dipping into the minus 20s even as we head into the weekend, unfortunately. Also in Grand Prairie, there is a 60% chance of flurries right now, so they're going to get quite a bit of snowfall over the next couple of days. Some other things to note, also Fort McMurray and Lethbridge have a 30% chance of flurries, but you know that's not as big of a deal. Something else to mention is this cold front that is sitting just right over the center of Alberta, and it's just pushing its way into Saskatchewan right now, just adding to that extreme cold warning that they're experiencing right now. And as we head into the 5-day forecast, you can see even more of what I'm talking about here.
Wow. Okay, so that's a seriously cold temperature. Minus 44?
Oof.
No, thank you. No, thank you. So I hear that the Trojans men's basketball team had quite the comeback on Friday night. How did that play out?
Yeah, absolutely. So the men's Trojans team had their first loss of the season, heartbreaking to watch, absolutely, against Olds, who was definitely ranked lower than them in the league, but luckily they were able to redeem themselves the next day against the same team and totally blew them out of the water. And we're going to have a look at that a little bit later on.
Okay, Louise, some juicy matchups tonight. Tell me about it.
Absolutely. We have a lot of exciting games going on tonight. The first, we're going to be looking at that Trojans game I was mentioning earlier. The Trojans men's basketball team has been killing it this year. They stormed out of the gate to gain a record of 14-1, and they're showing almost no signs of slowing down. The only speed bump in their season so far was the shocking 81-80 loss they took last Friday to the lower-ranked Olds College Broncos. It is an absolute logjam at the top of the ACAC men's hockey standings. The St. Trojans currently occupy the second spot with 28 points. They're only 2 points behind the Nate Ooks for the top spot and are tied with Red Deer College. As Christian Oldell reports, the Trojans are in a comfortable position, but they can't afford to let their guard down. The Calgary Hitmen are in a dogfight for the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference, and there's a lot riding on their clash with the Brandon Wheat Kings. But this isn't just any ordinary game. It's a chance for the Calgary Hitmen to honor their heritage since they'll be playing it from the old Stampede Corral. Danny Seymour has been following this story for us and is coming to us now live from the Stampede grounds. Danny, can you tell us a bit more about the game? Moving on to the National Hockey League, there are 3 games tonight with only one Canadian team in the mix. The Boston Bruins have put goaltender Tuukka Rask on IR, recalling Zane McIntyre for their matchup against the Philadelphia Flyers. And almost 4 months into the season, the New York Rangers will finally be able to play their arch rivals, the New Jersey Devils. The Rangers will be looking to rebound from their 1-0 shutout loss to the Flyers on Tuesday. And the Winnipeg Jets will be on home ice for the first time in a few weeks as they face the Columbus Blue Jackets.
And we're going to take a look at sports here in a moment, but Louise, how good have those Raptors looked so far?
They have been incredible this season so far, Jordy. They're really taking me by surprise, especially with one of their star players, Kawhi Leonard, sitting on the bench, but they're still just killing it out there. So speaking of the Raptors, they traveled to Utah yesterday to face the Jazz, coming off a huge win over the Lakers. They continued their hot start, defeating the Jazz 124-111. Although their opponents haven't been top-notch, 3 straight wins on the West Coast has made this a successful road trip for Toronto. They're heading to Sacramento tomorrow to face the Kings. The Montreal Canadiens continue to surprise the league as they picked up another win last night against the Islanders. The Islanders went up early, but a Jonathan Drouin shot beat Thomas Greiss to tie the game.
What about you? Have you ever thought about going vegan?
You know, I love meat way too much, and I'm a farm girl, so I don't think I could ever do that to my family.
I forgot that. No, that's fair. What about you?